The topic is we are going to start the dependent arising. So every day you read the book, The Law of Dependent Arising, and I think it will give you a nice guide. And I also going to preach on the guidelines of that book, because that book categorized so many suttas about dependent arising. So I have an idea then which suttas I will explain. So it's very easy to me. So each and every week, please read 10 pages. Now today you can think I can explain first 10 pages, not just the book, but according to that guidelines mean there are suttas, and what that 10 pages going to consider to emphasize you. So those things, I'll especially give the attention to those things and deliver the sermon. Okay. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Our homage to the fortunate one, the worthy one, the self-enlightened one. Yadha have phatu bhavanti dhamma athapino jayato brahmanassa atas khankha vapayanti sabbha yato pajanati sahetu dhammam. Yadha have patu bhavanti dhamma atapino jayato brahmanassa atas khankha vapayanti sabbha yato kayanam pachayanam avedi. Yadha have patu bhavanti dhamma athapino jayato brahmanassa vidhupayang tittati marasenang suryo obhasaya mantalikang. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear listeners, the meaning of that stanzas are: when phenomena manifest themselves to the ardently meditating Brahmin, then all his doubts get dispelled, since he knows the causal law. Second one, when the phenomena manifest themselves to the ardently meditating Brahmin, then all his doubts get dispelled, since he knows the extinction of conditions. When phenomena manifest themselves to the ardently meditating Brahmin, dispelling hosts of Mara, he stands like the sun illumining the firmament. So, dear listeners, the subject to the discourse today, dependent origination. Those stanzas I have get from Udana in Mahavagga, in Bodhivagga, Udana Pali book. So Udana mean Lord Buddha's appearance of joy. When sometimes Lord Buddha becomes happy with his some deep wisdoms, he telling those type of stanzas uh, that means Udana. We can read those things in the Sutta Pitaka, the book called Udana Pali. So, our teacher, the Lord Buddha, after his attainment of enlightenment in the province of Uruvela, on the bank of river Neranjara, remained seated under the Bodhi tree for 7 days, experiencing the bliss of the Nibbana, emancipation. According to his first 3 discourses of the Udana, the Lord Buddha, at the end of the 7 days, kept attending thoroughly to the law of dependent arising during the 3 watches of the 7th night. The 3 verses we brought up as the topic of our sermon today were uttered by the Lord Buddha as paeans of joy, proclaiming that we attended to the law of dependent arising in 3 ways during the 3 watches of the night. First of all, we want to show our gratitude to that late monk who called Most Venerable Katukurunde Jnanananda Mahatera. He's the one in Sri Lanka who again got the who again discovered the deep suttas what was hidden by the time. So because of that very very important hidden suttas, hidden mean it is on the Tipitaka, but no one care about those. So he emphasized those are very important suttas. Please consider those. So our gratitude to that monk also. So, however, what is the meaning? Yada have patu bhavanti dhamma atapino jayato brahmanas. The, when the phenomena manifest themselves to the ardently meditating person, the noble person, the atassa kanka vapayanti sabba, then all his doubts get dispelled. Yato khayanang pachayanang aveti, since he knows the casual law. That is the uh, first stanza. Dear listeners, so what are the phenomena? We have some questions now. What are the phenomena? What are the doubts? And what is the casual law? Those are the main questions what can be arised. Phenomena mean we use yada have patu bhavanti dhamma. Patu bhavanti mean manifest themselves. Dhamma mean phenomena. In the meaning, according to the Pali meaning, the Dhamma mean the things, what we consider about things as things. Eye, visuals, ear, sounds, nose, tastes, tangibles, body, mind, and thoughts. Those are the things. Those are the dhammas. What we think about things, think as things. So those are the things. When somebody meditate very ardently, so he can arise those things. Uh, the sounds, not only the meditation time, the person who have lots of effort, and he always uh, try to seize the defilements. So this type of person, he can attain attain very he also can until he become an arahant. He has those type of thoughts, the automatical thoughts, what arise without his own idea. So like that way, every people who will not who isn't attain the arahantship, he conceiving. There are visuals. Here is eye. Here is there are sounds. Here is ear. There is taste. Here is nose. Like that way. But when day by day, when he practice those things, uh, when the phenomena or dhammas uh, manifest in themselves, he can get some doubts. What are the doubts? We can see the doubts in Sabbhavasava Sutta, the second sutta of Majjhima Nikaya. There is now I'll explain it. Now you can hear my sound. Actually, my sound is just a consciousness to you, just a cognition. Please be very mindful and give the effort to stay in this moment, in the present. If you do like this way, surely you will feel this hearing is just a cognition. If you explain it by the mind, you can tell it's a consciousness of ear. If you again explain it, you can tell the Venerable One is speaking, I am listening. But your experience is just just a cognition, just a consciousness. So if somebody uh, do not understand this nature, he always conceiving about a duality as world and me, eye and sound, visuals, ear and sounds, and so on. When somebody conceive like this, he can arise some doubts. What are the doubts? Uh, there is really visual is existing. There is really I am existing. My body is existing. These feelings are mine. These sensations are mine. The perceptions are mine. These volitional activities are mine. These cognitions, these consciousnesses are mine. It is my soul. Or you can think, in the other hand, uh, I am. I am. And some doubts called in Sabbhavasava Sutta. I am existing or I am not existing. Uh, how I am existing? It's very complicated questions. In past lives, how I existed, and what I did, and the future lives, how will be I like that way. So many doubts he can think by why he conceiving a duality called um, he- uh, external and internal. In my sound also, uh, when you conceive, there is a sound is existing automatically. Indirectly you mix yourself. Who listen to the sound? The person who listening to the sound. As an example, if you talk about second in the grammar, second person or third person, you or he, indirectly there is a I, there is the first person there. First person is there. Like that, if you conceive about my sound, oh, Bhante is speaking, then indirectly you conceive, oh, the one who is listening. Those are the doubts. But these all doubts get dispelled since he knows the causal law. What is the causal law? Devotees, when we talk about the dependent origination, dependent arising, the law of dependent arising, so many people think, so many people know the 12 parts of that. Avijja, Sankhara, Vijnana, Nama, Rupa, Salayatana, Phassa, Vedana, Tanha, Upadana, Bhava, Jati, Jara, Marana, those things. But in one sutta, in Abhisamaya Sangyukta, or Abhisamaya Sangyukta according to my memory, in Sangyukta Nikaya, in Nidana Sangyukta, in Nidana Vagga, you don't know those names, it's okay. However, you can find those sutta in second book of Sangyukta Nikaya. So in that book, in one sutta, Lord Buddha has preached, dear monks, I will explain you the Patichcha Samuppada and Patichcha Samuppanna Dhamma. Patichcha Samuppada, the law of dependent arising is a one, and the dependent originating things are another. There is two things. What Lord Buddha had preached, iti imasming sati idang hoti, imasupada idang uppajjati, imasming asati idang nuhoti, imasa nirodha idang niruchyati. Then this is the law of dependent arising. I'll explain. Imasming sati idang hoti. Thus this being, this comes to be. Imasa uppada idang uppajjati. With the rising of this arises. Then imasming asati idang nahoti. That means if this is not, this not comes to be. With the cessation of this this ceases. But I'll tell it again. Thus this being, this comes to be. With the rising of this arises. This is not being, this not comes to be. With the cessation of this ceases. This is the law of dependent arising. Then what are the things? What are dependent originated? What are the dependent originating things? Those are avijja, sankhara, nama, rupa, vijnana, and so on. Actually, when we talk about phenomena, when we talk about dhammas, actually the dhammas are those 12 things. What are those? Avijja, sankhara. If you think about, I am listening to the dhamma. In that phenomena also you have avijja, sankhara, vijnana, namarupa, salayatana, and so on, everything. I'll explain now, wait. Then what is the Patichcha Samuppada? It's very, uh, I'll chant the Patichcha Samuppada now. Avijja Pachaya Sankhara, Sankhara Pachaya Vijnanam, Vijnana Pachaya Nama Rupam, Nama Rupa Pachaya Salayatanam, Salayatana Pachaya Passo, Passa Pachaya Vedana, Vedana Paccaya Tanha, Tanha Paccaya Upadanang, Upadana Paccaya Bhavu, Bhava Paccaya Jati, Jati Paccaya Jara Maranang, Sokha Paridev, Dukha Domanas, Upayasa Sambhavanti. Evame kevalassa dukkhandassa samudayo hoti avidyayatvev asesa viraga nirodha sankhara nirodho sankhara nirodha viññāna nirodho viññāna nirodha Nama Rupa Nirodho Nama Rupa Nirodha Salayatana Nirodho Salayatana Nirodha Passa Nirodho Passa Nirodha Vedana Nirodho Vedana Nirodha Tanha Nirodho Tanha Nirodha Upadana Nirodho Upadana Nirodha Bhava Nirodho Bhava Nirodha Jati Nirodho Jati Nirodha Jara Maranang Sokha Parideva Dukkha Domanas Upayasa Nirujjanti Evame tassa kevalassa dukkhandassa nirodho hoti. This is the those are the Patichcha Dhamma. That is, from the ignorance as condition, preparations arise. From the preparations as condition, consciousness arises. Consciousness arises. From the consciousness, the name and form. From the name and form, the six sense bases. From the six sense bases, contact. From contact, the sensations. From the sensations, then craving. From the craving, clinging. From the clinging, existence. From the existence, the birth. From the birth, as condition, arise the decay and death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. Such is the arising of the entire mass of suffering. But there's a word, dear ones, avidjayatveva saviraga nirodho sankhara nirodha. Avidjayatveva mean, according to the grammar, avidjayatu eva. There is a word tu mean but. But this is the arising of the entire mass of suffering. But with the entirely cessation from the entire cessation of the avijja, ignorance, uh, the preparations cease to be. From the preparation cease, the consciousness also cease. From consciousness, name and form also cease. When name and form cease, then the six sense bases also cease. From the six sense bases cease, contact cease. From the contact cease, sensations cease. From the sensations, craving also cease. From the craving, clinging also cease. From the clinging, the existence also cease. From the existence, then the birth also cease. When the birth cease, the decay, death, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair, such is the cessation of the entire mass of suffering. So this is the conditional things. What are those are the things? But the dependent origination is itimasming sati idang hoti. Thus this being, this comes to be. With the arising of this arises. This is not being, this not come to be, comes to be. With the cessation of this ceases. There is a theory. This is what Lord Buddha had comprehended. Because uh, this theory we can see each and every part of the Patichcha Samuppanna Dhamma. In each and everything, the avijja, sankhara, namarupa, vijnana, that means ignorance, preparations, craving, clinging, in any of double, we can see this. Uh, we can see this theory. This is this law. If this comes to be, this if this being, this comes to be. The arising with the arising of this arises. That is what we have to think about in a very deep manner. I'll explain you a comparison. I'll give you an example. If you know about our uh, uh, Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Upatissa, who was um the left hand, the right hand Savaka of the Lord Buddha, the main from the main two Savakas, Sariputta and Moggallana. So Sariputta, when the Venerable Sariputta becomes Sotapanna, by the two verses of a stanza. What is that stanza? Ye Dhamma hetu pabhava, te sang hetu tathagato aha, te sanchayo nirodho, evang vadi mahasamano. If something arises with the causes, the Tathagata is explaining that cause. With the cessation of this cause, those dhammas also ceasing. Uh, that is what the Tathagata is saying. The Venerable Sariputta has heard that from the Venerable Asaji, Maharahanta. Venerable Asaji being the first five disciple, one of the first five disciples of the Lord Buddha. When then Lord Buddha tell them to go and spread the Dhamma. So when he go to the collecting alms, then the Venerable Sariputta in his lay life he saw that monk, and he after he's eating he comes to him and asks, oh Venerable one, you are very Venerable sir, you are very calm. Who is your teacher? I also like to learn about his Dhamma. Then he said, I'll tell you it. I'm very nearly got ordained, so I don't know so much things. Then again, Upatissa told him, "Oh sir, oh Venerable sir, I can understand anything you can explain in a shortly way." So then the Venerable Asachi has explained about his teachers teachings from that stanza. Ye dhamma hetu pabhava, tesang hetung tathagato ah, tesanchayo nirodho, evang vadi mahasamano. If some dhammas, if some things arising with the conditions, the Tathagata is explaining that condition. From by listening these two verses, Venerable Sariputta become an stream enterer. Because no need to listen to the cessation part, because if something arises with the conditions, the wise person knows when the cessation of if not being, this not comes to be. With the cessation of this ceases. Now we will this, it is very deep, please listen very carefully. Now we are explaining little by little. There's a very deep thing in ye dhamma hetu pabhava tesang hetu tathagato. It was caused to somebody to be an stream enterer. We must consider about that stanza, about that two lines. If something arises with the conditions, the Tathagata is explaining that condition. if we think about this series, uh, this thing, this scenario, we can emphasize. Surely the Venerable Sariputta, Venerable, then his lay life Upatissa, was not know. He didn't know in that time about Avidya, Sankhara, Namarupa. He don't know those theories. He just listened that. But how he attained this Uttapanna? How? How he attained? If some things, what are the things? Things mean what we think, what we conceive as things. Those are the dhammas. Ye dhamma hetu pabhava. Yeah, some things. Ye means some things. Some uh, dhamma mean things. Hetu pabhava, arising with the conditions. Tesang of those hetung, condition of those causes. Uh, Tesang hetum tatagato aha. Tathagata is explaining. That is the meaning of that stanza. Then what are the causes? Uh, what is the cause, and what are the dhammas? Dhammas are if we think about that scenario, that Venerable the Putisa listening the Dhamma from Venerable Asaji. Now he, as a ordinary person in that time, he was think about he was taught. Oh, he's telling, I'm listening, like that way. Oh, that those are dhamma. Those was he got as a thing, as a dhamma, or his sound. It is a dhamma. As an example, we got that example. Get that example. Or his sound. Ye dhamma hetu pabhava. It is arising with the causes. Now the Asaji, Venerable Asaji is explaining the dhammas are arising with the causes. Then that is the point. Then he think about what are our causes. Now I get this as a thing, as his sound, but he's telling this is arising with the causes, and the Tathagata is explaining the cause of it. Just that he said, not nothing else. No. At least he was not explaining the cause. He just explained. Tathagata is explaining the causes. Immediately, the Venerable Sariputta become an Sotapanna. How wise is he? Now I'll explain how we can tell it rising with the causes. In that time, he just have a consciousness. But as a preparation of the mind, he conceives about a duality. There is a sound, and that there is a one who is listening. There is ear. Then he knows, oh, this is with the causes. And in some suttas, Lord Buddha explains, if we think about eye, or if we think about visuals, if we think about ears and sound, if we think about nose and tastes, nose and smells, and tongue and tastes, this is sankhutang, abhisanchetetang, kaya dhammang, vaya dhammang, viraga dhammang, nirodha dhammang. That means, if we think about those things as things, those are sankhutang, those are preparated. How? If now you are listening to my sound, but there is a sound and there is a ear, then you feel, then your attention is also there. Then you feel a consciousness in the ear, consciousness of ear, cognition of in the ear. It is preparated. And then he has told abhisanchetita. It has conceived in the mind by the thoughts, by the volitional activities. You conceive it. Now, as a sound, oh, the Venerable says sound. It you arise from yourself. It's a conceiving, not your experience. Your experience is just a cognition, just a consciousness. But you conceiving a duality. Then Lord Buddha has preached abhisanchetita. Then kaya dhamma. If something preparated, it has to be seized. Surely it will be seized. If you conceive about the Venerable sound, Bhante sound, usually that conceiving has to be ceased. But if you just have a cognition, if you just have a consciousness, there is nothing to be seized. There is nothing to be seized. But if you conceive as a thing, in that time you have things to be seized. You have things to be seized. But if you haven't things, if you just have a consciousness or cognition, there is nothing to be seized. But if you think if you conceive as a sound, it is kaya dhammang. It have to be. It is ceasing. Vaya dhammang. It also the meaning of ceasing. I just have a little difference, but I don't know the English vocabulary. Kaya dhammang, vaya dhammang, viraga dhammang. We must be disappointed about those. And nirodha dhammang. It is a way of ceasing. Uh, that kaya dhamma mean it's part by part, little it ceasing. That is called kaya dhamma. Vaya dhamma means also little part by part, but with a long quantity, big quantity it is ceasing. I don't know the real in English word. The nirodha dhamma mean it is a nature of ceasing. That is cease. The word of cease comes to the nirodha dhamma. It has the nature of ceasing. As an example to the kaya dhamma, if you if you make a incense sticks, if you fire some fragrance sticks, then to the Lord Buddha you offered, no. So if you little by little it burn and come to down that ash, like that way. That is called kaya dhamma. It's small, little ceasing. And vaya dhamma mean big quantity ceasing. Nirodha dhamma mean it is in the nature of ceasing. Those are the meaning. So those are then what do we think about? Ye dhamma hetu pabha. Now this sound, now I conceive this sound as a thing, but Venerable Asaji is telling this is arise with the conditions. Oh, maybe in that time, Venerable Sariputta, the Buddhist layman, uh, should thinking, oh, how it is generating. Then he might think, oh, surely this sound with a condition, not only not only I am listening, it have a condition. Then he will immediately understand, if it have a condition, if the condition ceases, this this conceiving about I am listening, that concept also ceasing. That is what Venerable Sariputta comprehended and liberated in his self. And those causes Tathagata is explaining. just from these two lines. Again and again, I emphasize to you, ye dhamma hetu pabhava, te sang hetung tathagato aha. If some things, some dhammas arising with the causes, the Tathagata is explaining those causes. What are the causes? For each and everything, dear ones, we can put the any one of that stanza. Iti masming sati dang hoti. Anything. And another thing, uh, normally, usually you are thinking, if you talk about a theory, uh, uh, this being that comes to be. But in the Buddhist, in the law of dependent arising, there is just a this being, this comes to be, not that. This beings, this comes to be. Please think for a moment. This being, this comes to be. Not a two types. Not that. Because these all conditions uh, are attached to each and every one. Avidya, Sankhara, Vijnana, Nama, Rupa, and etc. Now I will explain in this moment how is the Patichcha Samuppada generating in yourself. Now you can listen to my sound. Then you can we can what the example is, you're thinking, oh, I am listening. The Venerable One's voice, I am listening. Now we can explain how is the Patichca Samuppada in this manner, in this example. When you think I am listening to the Venerable One's sound, external and internal duality is there, then this is ignorance, the avidya. How? The avidya's explanation is dukkhe ajnanam, dukkha samudaya ajnanam, dukkha nirodha ajnanam, dukkha nirodhagamini patipadaya ajnana. Unknowing of the dukkha, unknowing of the suffering, unknowing of the cause of suffering, unknowing of the cessation of suffering, unknowing of the path to cease the suffering. So, if you don't know that we call avidya, that we call ignorance, then you don't know the suffering. You don't know. If I conceive about duality, the Bhante, sound, and I, it is suffering. Because what? In past sermons, we have talked about the three types of dukkha, three types of sufferings. There is dukkha, normal sufferings, viparinama dukkha, the suffering what comes from changing, and the sankhara dukkha, the the preparations also suffering. Because when we conceiving the duality, we immediately we feel the fatigue of the mind and the restlessness of the mind. If we make the duality, we are joining in the world. Explain you an example. If you watch a film, a movie in a dark place, you feel scared, you feel love, you feel lust by the movie. But because of why you are entered into that movie in that time, because of the darkness of the ignorance. But you never think, oh, I am in the movie because of the darkness. You never think like that. But in one time, if the light appears in your mind, you will immediately think, oh, this is just a illusion. Like that way. If you there is just a consciousness, but you think, conceive the duality. Oh, there you don't know the in the deep manner. This I'm explaining the avijja in the deep manner, not a normal manner. In the deep manner, in this moment, oh, there is dukkha. You don't know the dukkha, and you don't know the cause of suffering. You have some a craving. You have some desire to to get it as a thing. Uh, your mind don't like to be mindful and think it as a just a consciousness. You don't like, but your mind have a forcing to you to get those things as a duality. So that is craving in a very deep manner, because Lord Buddha has preached this craving have three type of like three type of qualities. What are those? Pono bhavika, nandi raga sahagata, tatra tatra binandini, in the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. This craving makes show you existence to existence. Uh, 1 second to another second, this craving shows you a duality. Oh, in the real world, I'm existing because of craving. You feel that because the craving force you to that, to enslaved uh, to that the concept of existing. But there is just a consciousness. There is just a cognition and the reflections. This is not the only sermon I'm doing in the dependent origination. I'll do more than 20 sermons on this topic. So don't worry, because within those times, one day you will comprehend what is the dependent origination in very in deep manners. Today I got as a theme. I got one theme. In another times I will get another themes for that. Um, then you don't know the cessation of suffering. You don't know if I do not enslave to that craving to conceive the duality. You don't know the cessation of the suffering, and you don't know this the path of cease the suffering. The path of cease the suffering is wait a bit. Yes, uh, if you think get as a two dwell, you don't know the path to cease the suffering. What is the path to cease suffering? Is uh, ones who listen the Dhamma from a noble person and he practiced the Dhamma. Then you explain the Dhamma in yourself. So then you make the right vision. Then your thoughts become as according to the right vision, the right thoughts, right speech, right works, right livelihood, and you do more effort, right effort to um, every day make you in the correct in the correct thinking on the correct you try you have to do effort to make that right vision permanent. Can you understand? Once you attain the sotapanna, you get the right vision, but it's coming and going. But you already understood, but it's coming and going, not permanent. Now, but you have to do effort after being sotapanna to make it permanent. Every way you got that your wisdom, you try to get it to practice like how you do effort to make that vision be perfect. You have to do effort to be mindful by satipatthana meditations. You do effort to do be right mindfulness. you do effort to be you do effort to meditate in the Satipatthana meditations. Then from the Satipatthana meditations, your right vision makes perfect. When it completes, the right mindfulness goes to become a right concentration. In the right mindfulness, you're doing effort to be right mindfully, but in the right concentration, it makes permanent. That right vision uh, appearing in a permanent way, not like coming and going. If that right vision makes you permanent right vision, then you are liberated. That's why Lord Buddha has preached the right concentration in the last way, in the last time. If you know the Noble Eightfold Path, the right vision, right thoughts, right speech, right works, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. The right concentration is the last one, not the first one. Please think for a moment. So, that you don't know the cessation of the suffering. You don't know the path to cease the suffering. You don't know if I want to be virtual, and I want to listen to Dhamma, and I want to make my thoughts correct, and I want to do the effort to be mindful, and I want to make myself in a right concentration with the wise, with the wisdom. You don't know that. Then that's why you feel, oh, Bhante, sometimes listening. Oh, that is ignorance. And there is the preparations also in this time, in this way. What is the preparations or preparating? This is just a consciousness, but you're preparating. Oh, there's the sound. There's I am. In until this, you maybe listen this Patichcha Samuppada to the three births, to three times: last life, this life, and another life. It is the explanation in the Abhidhamma. But if you read the second book of Samyutta Nikaya, you can you can feel in this explanation in the Sutta Pitaka. These explanations, I don't know why. There's two main, very different. The Patisamuppada explanation in Sutta and Abhidhamma. In that case, I don't know its correctness or wrongness. Some people says some people mean some the professors in Buddhism, and some big meditation masters also. Uh, some ones telling Abhidhamma is the late data analyzation. I don't know it's correct or not, but I know there's a big difference in suttas and Abhidhamma, because Abhidhamma always put ourselves to complicated theory, but suttas are very simple but very, very deep. When we think more and more, we can comprehend more and more by ourselves, not another one's theory. Only Lord Buddha has given a little sample. Then you have to think more. Then you will analyze more things by yourself, not the Lord Buddha's, not somebody's ideas. That is the way of the Sutta Pitaka. However, I'm very close with Sutta Pitaka more than Abhidhamma. So you can read the Samyutta Nikaya second book. You can find those suttas. Lord Buddha has explaining the avijja like this way, and sankhara in kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, mano sankhara. Not as the past life good merits and demerits, not those. according to in that sutta called Patichcha Samuppada Vibhanga Sutta. That sutta's name also. However, now there's a preparation also there. You're just a consciousness or cognition, but you're thinking, oh, there's two things, or the one is sound and ear, duality. Preparation is also there. Oh, that's why Lord Buddha has preached, itimasming sati idang hoti. This comes to be, this being, this comes to be, not that comes to be. This being, this comes to be. Not this being, that comes to be. Not that. It's this. The preparation is also there. When you think about Bhante's sound I'm listening. And the consciousness. What is the Pali word of consciousness? It is consciousness in Pali in Vijnana. According to Pali grammar, the Vijnana means Jnana mean Janati. Janati mean comprehend, understand. That is Janati. The Vijnana, the V means a suffix or the prefix. I don't know the real words. Prefix mean the before the word, little word. We mean it explains some speciality, uh, specially comprehend. Vijnana means specially comprehend, or just a consciousness. That is the nirukti. In Pali, words have, because Pali is a um, is the very old language. So those have the artha, dhamma, nirukti, patibhana, those four types meaning, and there's some ways of explaining, and there's a nirukti. Nirukti mean it can be parted by the word can be parted, divided to the parts. That goes nirukti. And patibhana, and can analyze the word as a one thing. I don't know how to explain. However, that is the words can be divided and can get the meaning correctly. That is the quality of the Pali language. What one of quality of the Pali language. So that is the specially comprehend. What he specially comprehend? Normally, vijnana means cognition, consciousness. But according to its nirukti, according to his real meaning, it is its meaning is specially comprehend. What we specially comprehend, world and eye, visual and eye, sound and ears, smells and nose, the tastes and tongue, the tangibles and body, the thoughts and mind. Normally, roughly, the world and me. That we specially comprehend. The duality. You can specially comprehend this duality. Then, um, after then there's the consciousness. The work of consciousness is show a duality. The work of consciousness is especially comprehending. How specially comprehend? Eye and ear, eye and visual, sound and ear, the smell and nose. That is the work of consciousness. That is the work of cognition. Cognition makes you a duality. In that, when you think Bhante's sound, I'm listening. In this time also, you have the consciousness, and the vijnana paccaya nama rupa, and there's nama rupa also there, name and form. Lord Buddha has preached Chattaricha Mahabhutana, Chatunancha Mahabhutana, Upadaya Rupa, Idang Uchiti Idang Uchiti Bhikkhave Rupam, Vedana Sanya Chetana Passo Mansikaro, Idang Uchita Ujjati bhikkhave nama iti dancha namang iti dancha rupang idang nama rupa. That means there is four great elements. There's a word called bhuta. Bhuta mean, I don't know the real English word. Bhuta mean it's very bhuta mean it's very yeah, it's like you know uh, abhuta. How I can explain that word? Wait. Um, I'll make that word. I'll get meaning of that word. Like let go. Wait. I can like like the word of the spirit or ghost. You feel some kind of unusual feeling like that way. Because why? The four elements are the four elements we can find in the earth. There is a roughness, there is a liquidness, solidness, liquidness, and the nature of wind. But those types are like ghosts, like spirit. Not, I want to give only the answer. No, the meaning is unusual or something like that. Uh, I don't know. Cannot believe like that way. Some abhuta, that is the Pali word. I don't know the English word. However, because why Lord Buddha has named those as things, we have to buy a consciousness. Because if we don't cognize this solidness or this liquidness or this temperature or this wind, we cannot understand those. We need those things to understand the tree or some rock. If we put water to the tree or rock, the rock cannot understand, oh, there's a liquid. If we heat a rock cannot understand, oh, there's heating. Because why? These four natures, these four elements, not it is very bhuta dhamma. I'll use the only Pali word, bhuta dhamma. Chattarija mahabhutana. That is the way Lord Buddha is explaining. Because why those are bhuta? Because we need a consciousness, we need a naming to understand those. Somebody tell the word. Can you hear me correctly? That is the case, I think.
Yes, we can hear you, Bante.
I can't hear. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Bante, but the connection is worse and worse.
Uh-huh. If again some problem, please tell me. I'll stop this explain after this explanation. And you have a feeling, the sensation as according to my sound, good or bad, perception as Bhante is speaking, and there's volitional activity, so volitional or intention, or Bhante is speaking to us, like the sensation, perception, then intentions, or volitional activities. Then in that, in the nama rupa means, rupa mean the four elements, nama mean name and form. Four forms, and the namas mean sensations. The namas mean primary way of naming. We are naming by the words, but the primary naming is from sensations, perceptions, intentions, contact, and attention. Those are the five. Those are the primary naming. The small baby naming things by those things. A blind person naming things by those primary naming things. What are those sensations, perceptions, intentions, contact, and attention? Now we compare those. Then you have a thought to Bhante sound. We are listening. Bhante sound. We are listening. There's a sound. Sound is there, but sound cannot be exist in his independent way. Sound need a rupa form need a name to understand. So there's a bhuta, there's a form, and there's a naming. You have a nice sensation to my sound, you have a perception, and you have an intention of Bhante sound we are listening, and there is then you feel the contact. Always sometimes you can feel this contact come to the first, but it's not, because why in the suttas always Lord Buddha is explaining according to our experience. According to our experience, firstly we can understand the sensation. Our soul, there is no any soul, but in the word, in the worldly way, our soul wake up by the sensation. Think of I am existing, that concept wake up by the sensation. Then that's why he's explained in the namas. First one is sensations, perceptions, then intention, then contact. There's a contact. Oh, there is after you feel the intention, or Bhante is speaking, we are listening. Then there's a contact. Oh, there is existing a independent Bhante. Then there is existing a independent I, and there is existing a soul, existing a consciousness as a soul. Oh, there's a contact also there. Passa. Attention, Manasikara also there. Attention. Form. Uh, in that time, when you think the Bhante sound we are listening, in they also have this name and form. The name and after the rising of name and form, there's six sense bases. Now you have the six sense bases called eye and ear, eye and visual, ear and sound, nose and taste, like that way. When you think about the six sense bases, then there's a contact also, or you have an idea what is the explanation of contact. Tinnang sangati passo. Tinnang mean three, gati mean going, go. Sang mean prefix. Prefix mean prefix or suffix, I don't know the correct word. But before the word it there sang mean um, together going, the together going of three things. What are the three things? Now you feel, oh, Pante is also existing independently, I'm also existing independently, and the soul also, and the consciousness as a soul also existing. But there's the contact also there. After that, by the contact, uh, the sensations, the Vedana also there. If you think about Bhante speaking, we are listening. There's some sensation also there, pleasant sensation, or neither pleasant nor unpleasant sensation. After that, there's a craving also there. The craving has three types. If there's a pleasant craving, pleasant feeling, pleasant sensation, you like to gain it again and again. If there's unpleasant sensation, you need to get rid from that sensation. If there's a neither pleasant no unpleasant sensation, you like to exist that sensation. In my sound, when you think about the Bhante sound we are listening, you have a neither pleasant no unpleasant sensations, so you like to keep it, you like to exist it. There's also craving also there. and the clinging also there. Now you cling to my sound, you by conceiving my sound as a thing, you are clinging to it. Because of that clinging, you feel an existence. Oh, in the actual world, actual I am are living, is living. I'm living. In this manner, if somebody has this the concept of existence, when the karma is gone to this body, you have to born in another body, maybe an animal's world or a heaven or the hell, we don't know. It happens because of that existence. Existence makes by the clinging makes by the craving makes by the um, contact. Sensations mixed by the contact mixed by the name and form. Sorry, six sense bases mixed by the name and form mixed by the consciousness mixed by the preparations mixed by the ignorance. When you think about, I am listening to the Bhante sound, there is a contact also there, sensations also there, craving also there, clinging also there, existence also there. In this way, if your karma according to your body is gone, you have to again exist in another body. That is what Lord Buddha has preached. Then this is the way of, then if you born in another body, you have to suffer. This is the arising of the entire mass of suffering. Then again he said, avijayatve vasesa viraga nirodho. Avijayatve mean avijayatu eva. That means but the cessation of the ignorance, the preparations are ceases. In this way, you can practice more and more and read that book, and we can be together in the next day. So, how is about your meditation practices? And always be mindful with your body. According to how your body works. When you are sitting, always think I'm sitting. When you stand, I'm standing. When you're walking, I'm walking. When I'm sleeping, I'm sleeping. Always try to mindful in your posture, because it is so important. Because if you cannot uh, concentrate your mind, the main reason is you you have no mindful in your postures. So first, be very good in posture meditation. So again, I'll make it very well in a I'll complicate that posture meditation next day, but practice more. That's why I today also I give for the posture meditation. So it's so important, because if you haven't mindfulness in the postures, your mind quickly can go anywhere in the meditation time also. So do like this way. If you have any of questions in Patichcha, listen, ask it at now. But don't worry, I will do more than 20 sermons on this. So don't worry. Okay. You all may feel the fearfulness of the samsara and do more effort to attain the fruits of the Dhamma in this very life.